Welcome back to Baha'i On Air, everyone. It's great to have you with us for another devotional focus.
Indeed. Today, we're diving into a really crucial virtue in the Baha'i teachings, accountability.
That's right. We've gathered some really profound passages from Bahá'u'lláh, Abdu'l-Bahá, and Shoghi Effendi.
And they offer such rich perspectives on this whole idea.
Our goal today really is to unpack what accountability means in these texts. What are the implications for us as individuals, for our communities?
And even for the Baha'i administrative order itself, it touches on so many levels.
Exactly. It seems like it's woven through everything: governance, personal growth, community life, achieving justice.
Absolutely. It's not just one thing. It's fundamental.
So where should we start? Maybe with governance? Baha'u'lláh had some powerful things to say there.
Good idea. That first passage really sets a strong tone.
Okay, this is from Gleanings from the writings of Baha'u'lláh. It reads, O ye, the elected representatives of the people in every land, take ye counsel together, and let your concern be only for that which profiteth mankind and bettereth the condition thereof.
He continues, regard the world as the human body, which, though at its creation whole and perfect, hath been afflicted, through various causes, with grave disorders and maladies. Not for one day did it gain ease, nay, its sickness waxed more severe.
For it hath fallen under the treatment of ignorant physicians who gave full rein to their personal desires and have erred grievously.
Wow, it's a strong image. He goes on, if at any time a physician of insight and skill endeavored to restore it to health, his efforts have been thwarted by the interference of others, for they have lacked the necessary knowledge and have striven to achieve their selfish ends, whether through force or craft.
We behold it in this day at the mercy of rulers so drunk with pride that they cannot discern their own best advantage, let alone recognize a truth that is manifest and undeniable.
And the conclusion. We have at all times made clear our purpose, that the welfare of mankind may be promoted, and the interests of all nations and people safeguarded, that mankind may attain true prosperity and salvation is the supreme goal of our revelation. The supreme cause of all these ills is the lack of a fixed standard of accountability among the rulers and leaders of the world. Therefore, it is incumbent upon them to consult together and to establish such a standard that the affairs of the people may be conducted with justice and equity.
Phew. Okay, that analogy of the world as a sick body treated by ignorant physicians, what's the core message there about unaccountable leadership?
Well, it's pretty stark, isn't it? It's saying that leaders without accountability, driven by their own desires, they don't just fail to heal the world's problems, they actively make them worse.
Like prescribing the wrong medicine.
Exactly. Ignorance combined with self-interest is presented as incredibly harmful. Baha'u'lláh is diagnosing this lack of a fixed standard, a measure of responsibility, as a root cause of the world's suffering.
And the remedy isn't just wishful thinking, it's specific. Consultation and establishing that standard of accountability.
Right. It's systemic. Consultation brings in different viewpoints. It tempers individual bias.
And then accountability ensures that decisions actually serve the common good, not just the leader's interests.
And notice the ultimate goal mentioned the true prosperity and salvation of humankind. So accountable governance isn't just, good politics. It's tied directly to humanity's spiritual purpose.
That connection is vital. Okay, let's shift focus a bit to the individual level, personal responsibility. Abdu'l-Bahá speaks very clearly to this.
He does. This next passage is from the Promulgation of Universal Peace.
Okay, it says, man is responsible for his own acts. He is endowed with volition and is free to choose the path of good or evil.
If he chooses the good, he is deserving of praise. If he chooses the evil, he is deserving of blame. This is the essence of accountability.
The essence. So accountability stems directly from our free will.
That's exactly it. Because we can choose. We are responsible for the choices we make. Praise or blame follows naturally. It's not something imposed from outside. It's inherent in our ability to make moral choices.
And the passage continues, the development of character and the acquisition of virtues depend upon the exercise of this freedom.
Through effort and striving, man can attain the highest stations of perfection. He must, therefore, be ever mindful of his actions and strive to align them with the divine teachings.
In this way, he fulfills his responsibility to God and contributes to the betterment of society.
So it's through using that freedom, knowing we're accountable, that we actually grow. We build character, we acquire virtues.
It's an active process, then, being mindful, trying to align our actions with the teachings.
Precisely. It's not passive. The awareness that we're accountable pushes us to be more deliberate, more thoughtful in our choices, and it connects our inner moral life directly to our duties to God and, interestingly, to society.
That link between personal choice and societal impact is key. Now, how does this play out within the Baha'i community itself, specifically within its administrative order?
Shoghi Effendi provides crucial insight here. This is from Baha'i Administration.
He writes, "The Baha'i administrative order is not merely a system of governance, it is a divine institution that requires accountability at every level."
The elected bodies, from the local spiritual assemblies to the Universal House of Justice, are answerable to the community they serve and to God.
Answerable to both the community and to God. That adds another layer, doesn't it? Calling it a divine institution.
It absolutely does. It elevates the whole concept. It means these institutions aren't just carrying out administrative tasks. They have a spiritual responsibility to uphold the faith's principles: justice, unity, service.
And the passage continues. They must conduct their affairs with transparency, justice, and a spirit of service.
This accountability ensures that the institutions remain true to the principles of the faith and that the community maintains its unity and purpose.
So accountability is key to the integrity and unity of the whole system.
Definitely. But it's not just the institutions. Shoghi Effendi adds, every believer, too, has a role to play in upholding these standards by participating in consultations, offering support, and adhering to the decisions made.
So it's a reciprocal relationship. How does that work, practically speaking? How do individuals uphold those standards?
Well, it's about active participation, isn't it? Engaging thoughtfully in consultation, offering constructive input. It's about supporting the collective decisions made through that process.
Even when you might personally disagree.
Especially then, perhaps, trusting the process. And fundamentally, it's about each of us striving to live by the teachings ourselves. Our individual integrity contributes to the integrity of the whole community and its institutions.
That makes sense. The individual and the institution reinforcing each other. Let's go deeper into that individual duty. Baha'u'llah's hidden words have such a potent call to self-examination.
Yes, Arabic number 31. It's very direct.
O son of being, bring thyself to account each day ere thou art summoned to a reckoning.
For death unheralded shall come upon thee, and thou shalt be called to give account for thy deeds.
That imagery, death coming suddenly, the final reckoning, it's powerful.
It really emphasizes the urgency, doesn't it? Don't wait.
Therefore, by the grace of God, take heed and be vigilant, that thou mayest not be found wanting in the balance of his justice. Why this emphasis on daily accounting?
I think the wisdom there is in recognizing life's uncertainty. We don't know when our time is up. So this daily check-in, this self-assessment against the divine standard, it's proactive spiritual maintenance.
Like checking your spiritual compass every day.
Exactly. It helps us catch ourselves, identify where we're falling short, and make corrections now while we still can. It cultivates that constant awareness, that vigilance, so we're always striving. It fights complacency.
A continuous process of refinement. Okay, so how does this intense personal accountability connect to our life within the community? Abdu'l-Bahá touches on this too.
Yes, in selections from the writings of Abdu'l-Bahá.
He writes, in the Baha'i community, every individual has responsibility to contribute to the welfare of the whole.
This includes being accountable for one's actions, participating in consultations, and supporting the decisions of the elected bodies.
So personal accountability is part of contributing to the whole.
Directly, the passage continues. Such accountability fosters unity, ensures justice, and promotes the collective advancement of the community.
Fosters unity, ensures justice, promotes advancement. It seems crucial for a healthy community.
Absolutely. Abdu'l-Bahá draws a clear line. When individuals take responsibility, consult genuinely, and support the collective, it builds trust. It builds unity.
And that collective strength then helps ensure justice and drives progress.
Precisely. It's this web of mutual responsibility that allows the community to function effectively and, as he says, potentially serve as a model for society.
That idea of the community as a model is powerful. So our personal commitment really does ripple outwards. Now, Shoghi Effendi connects this back to spiritual growth very explicitly.
Yes, in the advent of divine justice.
He states, the process of holding oneself accountable is essential for spiritual growth.
By regularly examining our actions and motives, we become aware of our shortcomings and can strive to overcome them.
Actions and motives, that's a deeper level of examination.
It is. It's not just about what we did, but why we did it. Shoghi Effendi stresses, this self-assessment must be honest and thorough, guided by the teachings of the faith.
Honest and thorough, no cutting corners.
Right. And the purpose isn't self-criticism for its own sake. She says, it is through such introspection that we can align our lives with the divine will and make meaningful contributions to the progress of humanity.
So accountability fuels transformation. It helps us see where we need to change, and the teachings provide the map.
Exactly. It's the engine of spiritual development. Awareness leads to effort, effort leads to growth, and that growth allows us to serve more effectively.
Okay, but what if we don't do this? What if we neglect accountability? Bahá'u'lláh warns about this too.
He does, quite clearly. This is from the tablets of Bahá'u'lláh.
They that have turned away from the guidance of God and have failed to bring themselves to account shall find themselves in grievous loss.
Their neglect will lead them astray, and they shall be unable to discern the path of righteousness.
That's serious. Neglect leads you astray, makes you unable to see the right path.
It implies a kind of spiritual blindness setting in. If you're not checking your direction, not consulting the map, you inevitably wander off course.
And the remedy. Therefore, it is incumbent upon every soul to be vigilant, to examine their deeds, and to seek the mercy of the all-merciful.
Vigilance, examination, seeking mercy comes back to that consistent, conscious effort. The consequences of neglect are presented as quite severe a state of grievous loss.
So, accountability isn't optional for spiritual well-being. Let's broaden the scope again. How does this link to justice in society as a whole?
Abdu'l-Bahá makes a very strong connection in The Secret of Divine Civilization.
Okay, what does he say?
He writes, true justice requires that individuals and institutions be held accountable for their actions. Without accountability, oppression and injustice prevail.
A direct link. No accountability equals oppression and injustice.
Yes. And then he brings it back to the individual. Therefore, every member of society must be vigilant in upholding justice, beginning with themselves.
Beginning with ourselves, again.
Always. By examining our own conduct and ensuring that our actions align with the principles of equity and fairness, we contribute to the establishment of a just and peaceful society.
So societal justice isn't just about laws and courts, though those are important. It starts with each person's commitment to fairness and accountability in their own life.
Exactly. It builds a culture of justice from the ground up. If individuals don't hold themselves accountable, how can we expect institutions or society at large to be just? It creates the foundation.
A foundation built on individual integrity. Now, circling back to institutions, Shoghi Effendi reinforces their specific accountability.
Yes, in the world order of Baha'u'lláh. It echoes the earlier point but adds emphasis.
He says, the institutions of the Baha'i faith must operate with the utmost integrity and transparency.
Their decisions and actions must be guided by consultation, justice, and a deep sense of responsibility to the community and to God.
Utmost integrity and transparency, guided by consultation, justice, responsibility. It's a high bar.
It is, and it needs to be. He concludes, this accountability ensures that the institutions remain faithful to the teachings and that the community maintains its unity and purpose.
So institutional accountability safeguards the whole system, ensuring it stays true to its divine purpose.
It's the essential check and balance, ensuring trust and adherence to the core principles.
Now let's look at accountability through a slightly different lens, its role in personal transformation. Baha'u'lláh offers a really encouraging perspective in the Epistle to the Son of the Wolf.
Ah, yes, this is a beautiful one.
He who is aware of his own shortcomings and strives to correct them is beloved in the sight of God.
That's striking, isn't it? Not perfection, but awareness and striving are beloved.
Exactly. He continues. Such self-awareness and accountability are the first steps towards personal transformation and spiritual growth.
The first steps. Foundational.
By recognizing our faults and making sincere efforts to overcome them, we draw nearer to the divine and become instruments of His will.
So admitting our faults isn't something to be ashamed of. It's actually the starting point for drawing closer to God. Accountability becomes a pathway to divine love and service.
It completely reframes it. It's not about judgment, but about growth and love.
A very positive and motivating perspective.
And what about leadership specifically? We touched on institutions, but Abdu'l-Bahá speaks directly to leaders.
Yes, in Foundations of World Unity.
He says, those who are entrusted with leadership must be ever mindful of their responsibility.
They are accountable not only to the people they serve, but also to God. Again, that dual accountability.
Right, to the people and to God. Their actions must reflect justice, compassion, and a commitment to the welfare of all.
Such accountability ensures that leadership is exercised with humility and integrity.
So for leaders, accountability is what grounds them, keeps them focused on service, justice, compassion, rather than, say, power or ego.
Exactly. It promotes humility because they recognize they answer to a higher authority and to the needs of those they serve. It demands integrity.
Sets a clear ethical framework for anyone in position of influence. Now, Shuggie Effendi also talks about the community's collective role in making all this happen.
Yes, creating the right environment.
Yeah.
This is from Messages to America.
He writes, the Baha'i community must foster a culture of accountability, where individuals and institutions alike are encouraged to uphold the highest standards of conduct.
Foster a culture. That implies it's an active, ongoing effort by everyone.
Yes. And how? This involves open consultation, constructive feedback, and a shared commitment to the principles of the faith.
Open consultation, constructive feedback. These require trust and maturity within the community.
Definitely. And a shared commitment, he concludes. Through such collective responsibility, the community advances and reflects the divine teachings.
So it's everyone's job to help create a space where accountability is normal, expected, and constructive, not punitive. It's part of how the community grows together.
A supportive ecosystem for accountability. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. What are the ultimate fruits, the spiritual rewards of embracing this principle? Bahá'u'lláh gives us a final, inspiring perspective.
This is again from Gleanings from the writings of Baha'u'lláh.
Those who bring themselves to account and strive to purify their souls shall attain the good pleasure of God.
Attaining God's good pleasure. That's profound.
It is. And there's more. Their efforts are rewarded with inner peace, spiritual insight, and a closer relationship with the divine.
Inner peace, spiritual insight, closeness to God. These are immense rewards.
And the final sentence really sums it up. Accountability, therefore, is not a burden, but a path to spiritual fulfillment.
What a powerful way to conclude. It transforms our understanding. It's not just a duty. It's a pathway to the highest spiritual attainments.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it seems incredibly clear that accountability in the Baha'i view isn't just some external checkbox exercise.
Not at all. It's deeply internal, fundamentally spiritual, and absolutely essential.
It underpins everything, our own growth, how our institutions function, how we build community, how we strive for justice.
And the writings consistently call for this constant self-reflection, this sense of responsibility woven into the fabric of daily life, from the individual right up to the highest bodies.
The connection between personal, community, and institutional levels is so strong, one reinforces the other.
It really presents a holistic vision for creating a better world, starting from within each person and radiating outwards.
So for you listening, maybe take a moment to think about how these ideas resonate. Where does accountability show up in your own life, your own understanding?
Is there perhaps one area where bringing a bit more conscious accountability, that gentle self-examination, might lead to some positive change or growth?
Just something to consider. Thank you so much for joining us for this devotional focus on Baha'i on Air.
We hope it's given you some valuable food for thought.
Please do join us again next week as we take another deep dive into the Baha'i writings.